High frequencies, everybody. In my throat. Um, Nothing really major that stood out to me in the dream too much, except for it's always wonderful to have a dream where you wake up smiling and you're laughing, and some things are funny in the dream. What that is? That bit me. But that's always wonderful to wake up from a dream and you're laughing or you're smiling. Something funny has occurred. So that did happen where I woke up and I was just laughing and I was in the bed just laughing to myself, which is always wonderful. But as the title says, I've been dreaming of gems. I've been dreaming of different gemstones. The last time I was on here, I talked about Diebold and I talked about the ruby, me having on the ruby ring, and the different workers lifting up the garage door and breaking my ruby into pieces. Well, um, night before last, I think this was like Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night going into Monday. I had a dream that one of my Tai Chi master teachers, well, I was at this department store, and at the department store, it was like a lot of jewelry, and I had some jewelry. It was a lot of diamonds, but in particular, my Tai Chi master teacher had some emerald earrings in his mouth, which was weird because I was like, when I woke up, I'm kind of like, why is he holding these emerald earrings in his mouth? But they were emerald, but they had diamonds around them, and they were in his mouth. And I went to get them, but it was like he was holding them away from me where I couldn't get them. And I was like, that's fine. If you don't want to give them to me, I don't care. It's not a big deal. So I'm telling a friend, I'm actually telling Divine Connection, check her out, Divine Connection. I was telling Divine Connection about it. I think it's Divine Connection 228. I'm telling Divine Connection about it this morning when I woke up. And I was telling her about the dream where he had the emeralds. And I was like, it's weird. And then she told me that she used to have some rose quartz earrings that she loved. And I was like, oh, I bet those were pretty. And so I do have the ruby rings. So I was thinking about, getting the emerald earrings or getting some ruby earrings or possibly getting both. For whatever reason, it is popping up in my dream and my awareness. So I go to sleep. I had been up already like 5 o'clock this morning. I go back to sleep around about 7 a.m. and I have a dream. And this dream is about more gems, more gemstones. So in the dream, it's weird that I was at this restaurant with people that I knew. I knew them in a dream. I don't know who they are, but I know them in a dream. And we were eating I remember it was a plate. I had a plate with beans, rice, and taco. And it was this very small taco. The taco was about this big, and it was stuffed. It had meat in it and cheese on top, and it looked really good. I was like, oh, okay. Mind you, I'm vegan. I don't even eat meat, but it was weird in a dream. That's what it looked like. So I was like, oh, it's really good. So it was other people at the table, and we were sharing. And so I asked the waitress to bring me another one because I asked her to bring me another tortilla because the taco had so much in it that I could share it into and add it to another tortilla shell. And so she says, okay, she goes back to go get it. I have a friend of mine that's across from me, and I tell her, I said, well, you can eat off of my plate until she comes back with the tortillas and we can share. So I come back with the tortillas, but because I don't have the plate, they see my friend with the plate. And so we had a female waitress, and instead of the waitress coming back, she sent out a waiter, and he brought the tortillas, the extra tortillas, right? And then he goes back, and then he comes back out, and he goes over to my friend that's eating off of my plate, that I allow to eat off of my plate, and he drops something in her hand. And I'm like, what is that? And so she said that the waiter said that the waitress that was here before says, these are for you. She's gifting these to you. So she drops them in my hand, and they are these rose quartz earrings and diamond earrings. So I'm like, the mind is such a funny, tricky place. Because remember, when I was awake, I was just talking to Divine Connection about her having these rose quartz earrings, and now I have a dream that the waiter drops these rose quartz earrings and these diamond earrings in my hand. I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh my God, they're so pretty. Like, what? Why would the waitress want to give me something so nice? That's what's so great. It's like, why would the waitress want to give me something so wonderful? And I just like, okay, we just went ahead with our meal. Of course, the dream switches. I'm zapped out. I'm with this crew, same crew, but we're traveling. It's like we're moving and we're running. It's like we're traveling, we're moving, we're running, and we're going. It's almost like parkour. If you all are familiar with parkour, that's kind of like how we were moving. You know how people jump over buildings and stuff, they're light on their feet. It's almost like we were doing parkour. And when we were go to another building, it's like we would jump to another building and slide down this pole, kind of like at the fire station. It would slide down this pole, and we'll go and jump to another building. And that's what was going on until I get to a stop where it's like, it was almost like we were running away from something, like something was coming for us and we were running away from something, until I get to this particular building. And I'm just like, I'm not going anymore. So half of the crew kept going. It was two teenage boys. I remember them telling me they were 15 years old. They stayed as well. They was like, we're not doing this. Like, we don't want to do anything. Like, we don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to go to school. We don't want to work. We don't want to do anything. They were just pretty much setting up shop in this building. And that's just that was their life. So I was talking to him about, possibly, doing some work, get some job, being an entrepreneur, like doing some things with their life. And so I started talking about my son, and my son appears, and he appears, and he's trying to talk to them as well. And he was making jokes and everything. And that's what made the dream funny at the end, because my son was making jokes. And it was so funny. And I woke up laughing. I woke up just like, everything was just so funny. But before that part occurred, before we went into the building where the two 15-year-olds were, I was getting ready to go down the pole. As I told you, it was a crew of us moving, and we were sliding down these poles like they have at the fire station. Well, I get on the pole. Half of my body is out and half of my body is not. It's like the pole is inside this building. Half of my body is on the building. The other half of my body is hanging on the pole. And I decide not to completely swing all the way down. Now, there was the other 15-year-old that was below me, and there was another 15-year-old boy that I was telling you about that was right there with me. And I was like, oh my God, I really didn't have a way to get out unless I just dropped down. It was like, you either gonna try to use your upper body strength and push yourself back up, because the way that I was angled, it was difficult because I was leaned back holding this pole. It's like, if you let go, you could fall if you don't have enough upper body strength, or you could come up. It just depends on your upper body strength. And I said, or I could fall. So I asked the 15-year-old, the teenage boy that was below me, I said, how far am I from the bottom? Is it a long drop? And he was like, yeah, that drop is pretty low. And I was like, okay, I can't do the drop. I can't fall. I'm like, I got to try to pull myself up. So the other 15-year-old teenage boy that was up top with me, he came around and he actually helped pull me. He like pulled from my legs. He pulled me through in order for me not to fall through. And so that particular part of the dream really stuck out to me a whole lot, even more so than the rose quartz and the diamond earrings. And, the other week, the other day, I just dreamt of the emerald earrings and then the rubies. They've been coming up a whole lot. But that part of the dream stuck out because it's like when we are going through situations where we kind of half in, half out. We may have our lore, and it's two parts that's coming to me right now that I'm thinking about, and I'm gonna go through the first part. We may be going through another level or going through a different trial in our lives, something that's different, and we may be half in, half out, or afraid to fully commit and go all the way through whatever this trial is. We may be afraid to fully commit because we don't know where it's going to take us. We can't see, right? I told you I had someone below me and above me. Also, to me, that is representing, my lower nature and my higher nature, my lower chakras and my upper chakras, if you want to look at it from that perspective, my lower self and my higher self. So many different ways you can look at it. And so with half of me being out and the other half of me being in and not knowing how far down the drop was for me to make it to go through or stay up, which one should I go through? And remember, I told you that it was a group of us and we were running from something, and I had gave up the run. There's no more running. I don't want to run from anything anymore. So instead of me dropping down to my lower nature, I decided no matter what, I'm going to try to pull up from my upper body. I decided that I'm going to pull up from my upper chakras, okay? Pulling up from let's say even the solar plexus on up to the crown and even to the soul star and all the rest of the higher chakras. And so when I made that decision to not give in to going through dropping, but to move up, I had assistance. So the assistance that was there was able to pull me through from my lower part of my body so that I was fully erect and able to come through at the higher part of the building and not at the lower part of the building. All right. And so even looking back in the dream, it was dark. Like the pole, and even inside of the building where the pole was, everything was dark. Like you couldn't see anything. And there comes the second part of what's the revelation of the dream synopsis and interpretation that's coming to me. Because it's two parts in two different ways that I'm seeing, and possibly you all can see as well. That works for you in order to get a meaning from this. So not being able to see, not being able to know how far it's going to take me, how low I'm going to drop, where I'm going to go next, what's going to happen, in the interim of me deciding to take either this job or that job or be in this relationship or that relationship, purchase this or purchase that, or, whatever the case may be in our life journey. We can't foresee where it's going to take you and how it's going to take us. And for majority of human nature, it's just natural for us to, kind of have a little bit of anxiety on that, have a little bit of resistance, have a little bit of a pushback on going in a route that's unknown, on going in a route that we can't control and we can't see and we don't know the outcome. So for some, and I don't know, where it would have taken me, because, I just gave you the first synopsis that I got, a revelation of the dream. But the second part could have been for me to just drop. It could have been for me to just fall and then see where that fall would have taken me. It may not necessarily taken me to a lower nature. It could have taken me, of course, to the unknown, and maybe I would have went on to see something else. Who knows? But the fact that my mind has been already pre-programmed prior to the dream state of not moving in a direction in which the unknown or the dark places can be a little bit challenging or create some type of anxiety or fear, that we resist that. And so going more into it, and as I think about it even more right now as I'm talking about it, it makes you want to really uncover more of here, like I said before, I think in a few videos back when I did a live, of what we do here reflects what happens, there in other dimensions and in the dream state. And as we do our astral travel, we are only projecting out what the mind has already created. Like it already has this pre-program in it of what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what you're going to resist, what you're going to allow in. We already have this going on until we do the intentional programming work here. That's when that will change. And so it's just brought to my awareness to be like, okay, go more into those unknown places, do more things unknowingly, stay in the present moment and release the control. I even went to sleep last night. And even this morning I woke up and I'm going back into a mantra that I say before I go to sleep is that I release all control into the hands of the universe. I release all control into the hands of the universe, because my goal is to not try to be in control, which that's kind of like an oxymoron within itself, but mentally releasing control of what we feel like we have control of in this world. I was talking to a friend of mine, a guy friend, the other day, and we had a conversation. We were talking pretty much about relationships. And in the relationships, like I told him, we never know the reasons why initially why people come into our lives. It could be like, oh, she's cool or he's cool, or, we end up, liking the same, or like in high school, we had friends that, we like to, we were all cheerleaders, or we were all in dance, or we like to dress a certain way. And we just end up connecting for whatever reason. When you meet someone of the opposite sex, it could be the same thing. Like, oh, he's attractive and she's attractive. We have good conversation. Let's take this further. Let's go out on a date. Let's see how this relationship can move forward. But we never really know the whole reasoning behind the connection. We're just flowing with what emotionally, or now that we are more aware, what spiritually feels like the best move. Or if we do our readings, or we use the I Ching or the tarot or the Medunether, then we'll know the whole reasoning behind that connection. So it'll let us know the spiritual meaning behind the creating of the interaction of that relationship. And so, but we're not the divine. We don't know when this is going to end, if this is going to end, if this is going to not end, if it's going to be forever, if it's going to be for 3 months, if it's going to be for 6 years, if it's going to be for 25 years or 30, or till death do us part. We don't know how long these friendships, these interactions, these acquaintances, we don't know how long these relationships will last. But the beauty of it is to release the control, going back to the unseen, not having to see, not having to know, releasing the attachment to what we perceive for it to be, and allowing the universe to be in full control. So therefore it can bring about the necessary outcome based on your destiny. Right? And that's what relationships really are, to help your spirit to ascend. So trying to make sense of it and trying to foresee anything in any type of relationship. I don't care if it's platonic or a friendship or interaction between male and female It's not for us to try to figure out, but it's for us, for each one of us to walk within spirit and to walk in divinity, so we can be able to help that person's spirit, as well as that person able to help our spirit to grow. All right. For us to reach the level of Asar, in this reality, to be a God man and God woman. So that's our goal, walking in divinity. So me not seeing that also put those two in my mind. Either, it could help me be able to look at life and help you all look at life from that perspective, releasing attachment, flowing with the universal consciousness, and allowing the unseen to really to be the seen, because we know that the universe has our best interest at heart. And that keeps us from having to redo lessons over and over and over again, when we just flow with what we cannot see, knowing that the things that we cannot see are even just as powerful. And then also being pulled in and staying on a higher plane and not running, I still receive that as me raising up to a higher nature, because I had assistance to pull me in to raise up to my higher nature and to stop the run, to stop, whatever was chasing me was not chasing me anymore. All right. And that could be anything in our mind that we feel like, we're running from or we're being chased from. So, not quite sure. I'm still pondering over the gems. The emerald has came to me, the diamond has come to me, the ruby, and the rose quartz. So, in less than a week's time, I have had all four of those gems come to me in a dream. And so, I just was looking up getting emeralds. I have, I think somebody just mailed me some more gemstone. Oh no, organite. They mailed me some organite. Um, organite. He mailed me organite necklace, pendants, and organite earrings. So I know I have some organite earrings that were handmade that I have to cleanse and then put on my altar. Haven't done yet. They were earrings sent. But I don't have any rose quartz. I do believe I've had clear quartz. I've had somebody make me some clear quartz earrings before. Um, I've had rose quartz. Ooh, I think that was back in 2016, 2017. I've had some rose quartz because I used to wear different, and may have been amethyst. I'm not sure. I can't remember because it's been a while back. But I'm definitely looking into getting the emerald earrings with the diamonds, also getting some ruby earrings with diamonds on it, and then just getting just plain, because I have some diamond earrings on, but I just want the big plain crystal. I just want the gemstone itself, and then work with that energy, because for whatever reasons the emeralds and the rubies are summoning me. I'm studying more on what all of them mean. Of course, I'm very familiar with rose quartz. It's one of my favorite crystals of self-love, as well as morganite. I love morganite. Morganite is one of my favorite because it's so pink and it's so pretty. Although you can get it in peach and a little bit change color, but I really love that morganite. I've seen some morganite with diamonds that I love. That's my next ring I'm going to get. I always say that's my engagement ring. It's so beautiful. But I love the morganite. So I'm looking into getting either well, I'm gonna get all of them. I'm getting the emerald, the ruby, and the diamond earrings, and work with that energy, because for whatever reason, something that I need to hear is what I'm picking up. It's something that I need to hear from these gemstones of why they keep coming to me. And it could also be that someone is going to gift me some emerald earrings or some rose quartz earrings or in some diamond earrings. I don't know. I got a birthday coming up, so I don't know. Somebody could be gifting me some of those earrings, because the waiter came over and gave them to someone, and then that person gave it to me. So yeah, I'm just going to release all control into the hands of the universe. Let it go. But yeah, that has been my dream, y'all. That's going on, of having these, I would definitely say having these gemstones come to me in my dream, which is really weird. And when she said the rose quartz, when she sent the message and said rose quartz, and I heard and I was laying in the bed, I'm like, watch me dream about the rose quartz. And I dreamt about the rose quartz. I love how my mind works, and I love how it happened because it was gifted, and so it may not be for me to, and that's coming to me really strong. It may not be for me to buy these gemstones. It may be for someone to give them to me and receive it, and then listen to what those gems have to say to me. But yeah, you all, that has been my synopsis, my dream, my revelation, my message, the internal channeling that I received from that. So I hope whatever I shared drops in your spirit and helps you on this spiritual path and this journey. So again, you all, always sending you much love, much love to yourself, much relaxation and peace and calmness during this time, because I know anxiety and depression can be high, especially when we get into the summer months. So I want to bring you all peace. Do a lot of self-love, rest, and self-care. Drink plenty of water during this time. Avoid anything that will change your nervous system. So avoid anything like coffee or anything that does any changes or to your nervous system. Be very, very careful about that, whether it's medication or it's foods that ramp up your nervous system or slow it down too much. So make sure you're very aware of the nervous system. That just came to me. So nervous system, y'all. All right. So peace, you all, and high frequencies.